final week of the regular season in women's college basketball in the Big Ten. The Purdue Boilermakers have 2 games this week, taking on Penn State on Wednesday night. It'll be senior night. Also, the Pink Out Cancer game that was rescheduled from last week will be on Wednesday night, 6:45 airtime, 7 o'clock tip-off. And then the Boilermakers will close out the regular season on Sunday afternoon, taking on the Minnesota Golden Gophers. That'll be a 3 o'clock Eastern tip from Williams Arena in Minneapolis. Good evening, everybody. It is the Katie Gearlds Show, and we are walk-ons in the Purdue Memorial Union. It is our final show of the season. We're going to be talking Boilermaker basketball with the head coach up until the top of the hour. You can follow along tonight on Facebook on the Purdue Athletics site. Let us know where you're tuning in from, and we'll be able to get your location and hopefully a question or two on the air. The coach will be with us here in a couple of minutes. It is the Katie Gearlds Show, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Got to go all the way back to last season. They've won 17 straight at Assembly Hall. Petrie puts it in from the top of the key.
Petrie has such a high release on her shot. It's difficult to close out on him. She gets it right above her head.
Kick out. More McNeil rims out of 3.
Indiana's still getting open looks from 3 because of the paint touches.
And that's a transition triple from Abby Ellis, their leading scorer in Big Ten play. Patriot 3, yes! Tries another 3, puts it down.
Mac and cheese, peanut butter and jelly, you take your food pick.
Petrie knocks it in from downtown and has now crossed over the 2,000-point barrier for her career.
It's very disciplined, very unselfish.
Petrie, crossover. Wow, really tough shot.
Laisha Petrie has been a mid-range assassin. Look at that crossover, gets Berger.
Largest lead of the game for IU at 10. Terry threads it down to Woltman. Terry, tough fadeaway, nothing but the bottom of the cup. Terry. Ellis, floater, counted in the foul. Petrie from way downtown. And it's back to single digits for the Boilermakers. Ellis, what a shot on skates, flipping it up over Parent. Like that. Geary with 2 seconds, and a shot clock violation.
You're listening to the Katie Gearlds Show on 95.3 Bob FM.
Welcome back to the Katie Gearlds Show, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union. We're live at walk-ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where it's always game day with a taste of Louisiana. Lafayette Limo, family-owned, women-owned, serving Greater Lafayette for over 33 years. Shuttles to and from Indianapolis and O'Hare airports 365 days a year. Make your reservations now at LafayetteLimo.com. Lafayette Limo, proud sponsor of Purdue Athletics. And we're joined by head coach Katie Gearlds. And Katie, we talked a lot over this course of this season and in past seasons, how everything can change in life in about a 2-hour span. And we usually define that or keep that confined to basketball stuff. About 20 minutes after we got off the air last Monday night, the world changed up in East Lansing and had an indirect effect on Purdue. But the shootings up in Michigan State, it's something that nobody can ever prepare for, and yet we're at the point now where it's almost not even surprising anymore.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate, and you know, we offer up our prayers and our thoughts to, you know, the Michigan State campus, the community of East Lansing. But, you know, without getting too political, we've got to do better. We got to do better as people. You know, you think about lives that were lost. We got to do better.
I texted you and Ian both on Monday night, and it was pretty obvious pretty soon that we were not going to be playing basketball on Wednesday. And some people are asking here online, that game's not going to be made up.
Yeah, it doesn't look that way. It's still listed as postponed just because, you know, we still live in COVID. Like, a lot of things could happen with COVID, and games could get moved around. But, you know, for us to have played that game, you know, we were probably looking at about 4 games in 7 days leading into the Big Ten tournament, and you know, just a really unfortunate situation, a tragedy up there, and something that we have absolutely no control over, and,
Yep.
and we're, outside of losing lives, and I'm not trying to be insensitive of that. We took a pretty big hit as a program here.
Well, it's the second time this year you've not been able to play a game. The first time was in Las Vegas, where you had to cancel that trip because of concerns about the safety that was involved in that tournament. So you wind up, again, 2 games short, not COVID-related, and again, two things that, as you mentioned, are really out of your control.
Yeah, it's, we're 17-8 and not playing the 2 games. Having won at East Lansing, you felt good about playing them at home and getting the win, and then losing the Campbell game as well. 19-8 sounds a little bit better than 17-8, but it's where we are, and we've talked about it as a group. We can only control what we can control, and right now that's Penn State on Wednesday.
Yeah, it did give you some extra time maybe to heal up a little bit and get ready to play an Indiana team yesterday that we knew coming in was the best team in the Big Ten, and there was nothing we saw yesterday that changed our minds.
Yeah, not even close. And honestly, I watched South Carolina last night. I pick Indiana right now. I mean, there's just too many weapons. You've got to be perfect. And, we played Indiana the first time after a week off, and that's not really we played Penn State the first time after a week off. We need to play. We need to keep our rhythm. And, every time we've had a whole week off, we've not come out and won a basketball game. So excited to play Wednesday and Sunday this week and get back hopefully in the win column.
The game yesterday was pretty similar, though, to the game in West Lafayette, in that it was really close at halftime. It was 5 points here. It was 3 points yesterday, and you had to feel pretty good heading into the locker room.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that play into that. I think, both times our game plans were on point. The girls locked in and followed them. And then, they're just so physical and so strong, and we just kind of ran out of gas there in the second half. And, they scored 27 points and just shot 69%. And, maybe you don't know, before yesterday, we led the Big Ten in field goal percentage defense, and they came out and didn't miss a shot. You make one mistake, they're going to take advantage. They're too skilled, too smart, well coached, got too many weapons, and I thought yesterday we competed a lot differently than we did 2 weeks ago at Mackey. I thought there was a time there, our home game here, and I don't like to say this, but we kind of waved the white flag a little bit. And I don't think we did. I didn't feel like we did that yesterday, and I was proud of our group.
And really a tough environment. We talk about the fact that you don't like that many people yelling against you, but it was really kind of fun to go on the road and play in front of a sellout crowd.
Yeah, it was fun, and I told you this yesterday, and I don't know if there was 17,222 people there.
There were not.
There's a lot of empty seats up there, but, it was fun. It was fun to be in that environment. And honestly, I did not think it was as loud as Ohio State. I did not think it was as loud as Iowa, and it's definitely not as loud as Mackey Arena.
The thing that makes it difficult when you play against a team like Indiana is you have to double Mackenzie Holmes in the post, because if you don't, she's going to score 30 or 40 points. The problem they have now with Chloe Moore-McNeil hitting the shot she is, where do you bring the double?
Yeah, I mean, it's, we took our chances at home, and, Chloe had made, 9 threes, I think, and she comes out and hits 3, and you've got to go. And it's not that we want, in our game plan yesterday, we wanted to guard her in the half court, but we wanted to make sure we were clogging and helping Caitlin and Ricky and giving those guys a little bit help. So Holmes wasn't getting just deep rim runs in transition and then trying to clog on Grace Berger in transition. And for the most part, we did a good job with that. But then in the half court, man, Scalia shot it well, Garzone shot it well. Chloe came in and, she goes 4 for 8. But, man, hats off to them because, man, they can hoop.
All right, when we come back, we'll have more of the Katie Gearlds Show presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Will that be enough for Macy Vieta to win the Big Ten title?
Awards 6.5, 7, 6.5, 7.5,
58.8,
7.
Maggie Merriman. And your 2023 Big Ten Women's Swimming and Diving Champion. Also from Purdue University with a score of 318.30, Macy Vieta.
A couple of looks at Macy Vieta's strong night, a couple of dives that scored well over 70 points. And She was the class of the field in platform diving in 2023.
She secured plenty of 8s tonight. I mean, take a look. Her entry and her execution was just so consistent across the board. I mean, that splash minimal.
Macy, congratulations. How would you describe your diving tonight? You had a couple of big dives over 70 points, but you were pretty consistent as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I really just tried to stay focused and not worry about the previous or the next one. I tried to really think about the one I was on and execute my cues, and, you know, the results came after.
And we just saw a pretty exciting moment for you on the podium as you motioned up to both your teammates, 3 Boilermakers, all in the final. That's got to be pretty exciting and obviously a great environment to train with.
Absolutely. Honestly, we all love Tower so much, and so we really wanted to go out there and represent Purdue the way we know how. And so having my teammates up there is the best feeling in the world. I know I'm not alone, and we're all in this together.
Bob FM.
Purdue Global is Purdue's accredited and affordable online solution for working adults. Persistence pays off at Purdue Global. You had a visitor this week in practice, somebody that is near and dear to both of us. Yukari Figs, one of the all-time greats, showed up. And first of all, it looks like she could still play a little bit.
Yeah, she probably could.
But here's Yukari Figs, for those of you who don't know, high school basketball player in Kentucky, Miss Basketball in the state of Kentucky, won a state championship. Comes to Purdue, plays point guard, wins a national championship. Goes into the WNBA, plays for the Los Angeles Sparks, wins a WNBA championship. She's been a champion at all levels, got a mechanical engineering degree from Purdue, and now she's doing great things down at Toyota. Those are the kind of people that you want to produce out of this basketball program.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was really cool to have Yukari talk to our group just about the importance of, you know, wearing Purdue on your chest and what it means. And something we started to try to preach last year about the importance of, you know, playing for, you know, the old gold and black and what that meant, and Yukari kind of preaching the same thing. You know, on top of Yukari being here over the weekend, Camille Cooper goes into the Hall of Fame, and her and her 4 kids stopped by the office today, and we were able to show them around for a couple hours, had a really good time with Camille. Next year is their 25th anniversary of the 99 championship, so
yes, it is.
Excited to celebrate them. I told them and promised them it was going to be a big party. But it's just, you know, honestly, to hear those guys talk about how proud they are of our team and the changes that are happening around here has been really, really cool. They're excited to, and they want to know, how can we help? What can we do? You know, they're all on board, and it's been fun to kind of reconnect with that group, and excited to keep it building.
You know, you go back to that 1999 championship team. Certainly it was special because it won a national title. It went 34-1. That was a really, probably never seen a group that was so together. And a lot of that was the situation surrounding it. You knew before the season Carolyn Peck was leaving at the end of the year, so you're going to lose your coach at the end of the season. And I think that really brought everybody inward. I've never, ever seen a team that was as tight as that one was.
Yeah, actually listening to Camille and Yukari kind of tell those stories, and excited to try to get them back in the spring. They're all on, you know, they talk about Steph and KT and, you know, Kelly and all those people that were part of those teams. They just want to be here and kind of help us rebuild this program. And I'm excited. I'm excited because it's going to be fun for our group to hear those stories and hear what it used to be like.
And it is important to keep those former players involved in the program. We saw yesterday down at IU, they've only won one other regular season championship in the Big Ten. That was back in 1983, and that team came back.
Yeah.
A lot of that team was back yesterday for a 40-year anniversary, and you can tell how much it meant to them to be involved in this year's program.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just really cool, and it's important for me to do my job and reconnect with those groups of you know, those classes. And you know, I look at, actually Camille and I were in Mackey today, and we were looking at the banners, and the last one says 2013, and it's just been too long. We've got to get it back.
I think I have a feeling that's coming back sooner than a lot of people might expect.
I kind of have the same feeling.
You mentioned you're going to play twice this week. What is the schedule? When you get to this point in the season, you've got to have that balance between keeping their legs fresh but also making sure you stay on point. So what is your schedule this week?
Yeah, well, yesterday, you know, the game was early in the afternoon, so we got back on campus at 5, and we didn't have practice tonight until 5. Caitlin has a late class with, you know, over in that Cranert school.
I am well aware of that.
She's got
yes.
that later class. So we pushed practice back to 5. We watched film for about a half an hour, and then we were on the court for about an hour, and we got up and down pretty good against our guys. We gave up 15 offensive rebounds at Penn State and turned it over 21 times. So, you know, we challenged them, but our group was locked in, and you know, they were ready to go and film and responded on the court. Tomorrow we'll go, you know, 3:30, we'll watch film for another 20, 30 minutes and be on the court for an hour, 10, probably max about that for us. And it's on them to get in the gym and find the rhythm and get shots up.
All right, we're going to talk more about Penn State, Minnesota, and other things in 2 minutes. It is the Katie Gearlds Show, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
George has always been a big dreamer.
He was talking about how he wanted to be the best NFL player when he hadn't even played a whole year of football.
Let's do it. Go Boilers.
On the face of my city, co-signed by Diddy.
Prove him wrong.
Prove them wrong. That's big to me. People don't believe you. All right, I'm going to prove you wrong.
Keep again. Karlaftis is there. George Karlaftis, the freshman. The crown jewel of this Purdue recruiting class.
What a play by George. Karlaftis. He just kept the relentless pressure.
Yeah.
He didn't slow down at all.
It's loose. Karlaftis has it. He's at midfield. He's at the 40. He's at the 30. He's at the 20. He's at the 10. 5. Touchdown, Boilermakers. George Karlaftis on the fumble return.
NFL draft. The Kansas City Chiefs select George Karlaftis.
Wow.
Defensive end, Purdue.
I'm proud of that kid. It's hard to make it through as a rookie, period. 17 games. But get better every week at that position, you know, is something. I mean, it's as much mental as it is physical, and he is relentless. You see him in practice. He goes 100 miles an hour in practice. He transfers that into games, so my hat goes off to him.
Burrow facing the heat again. Karlaftis, the rookie.
Writing in from Pennsylvania. We're gonna get the story about your dad in the truck in just a second. For the folks who haven't heard that, Ira from Wisconsin says knows the season is far from over, but thank you for a good season and an even more promising future. He does wonder that you have the KG unit as the name of your student section. Does the unit have any meaning, any significance?
No, honestly, back in the 90s there was that rap group called the G Unit. If you
I missed that, but I'll take your word for it.
No, so it's more or less supposed to be the KG unit.
Gotcha.
But you know, the paint crew, KG unit, just a play on it.
Gotcha. Understood. Now it makes more sense now. Sheila wants to know any explanation for the recent poor showing in the third quarter, probably more the third quarter in the Indiana games. And I think you got to look across the way to see the team you were playing was pretty good, and they got it going in the third quarter.
Yeah, it's those two games, right? And I guess against Rutgers and Northwestern, those are the other two games stacked in between. I thought third quarters we came out, responded, did well. I think that has a lot to say with who we're playing, and Indiana just being really, really good.
Tim from Fort Wayne, loved watching you as a player, followed your career overseas and at Marion. Happy to have you as the coach. And Peggy from St. Louis, who's been a loyal watcher all year, says this team is growing and improving every game, and we'd have to agree with that.
Thank you, guys.
The Katie Gearlds Show, by the way, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union. We're live at Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union. It's always game day with a taste of Louisiana. Great place to watch, by the way, the NCAA tournament, which is coming up here in a couple of weeks, and the Big Ten tournament will be in Minneapolis sometime in the middle of next week. We will not be playing on Wednesday, so we'll probably be playing sometime Thursday. if you look at the way that things are breaking out right now, it looks like, unless there's a couple of big upsets this week, you're probably locked in as the 7 seed, which means you would play the 10 seed. In those games, the first game would be Thursday night at 6:30 Eastern time. And if you win that, you'd be on the same time on Friday night. So the good news is people who are working during the day are going to be able to watch. I know we're not going to have a lot of fans probably making the trek up to the Target Center this year.
Hopefully we can get a couple wins and play on the weekend, and maybe then we can make the trip up there. But, yeah, 7 seed looks like it's probably locked in. I think losing the Michigan State game, that's where it hurts us for our Big Ten seeding. Obviously, we needed some help with Ohio State and Illinois to do some things, but having win that game and you take care of the next two, I thought we put ourselves in a situation to finish 5th place in the league, and it's unfortunate we don't have the opportunity, but it is what it is.
How's your dad like his new truck? And tell the story about why your dad has a new truck.
My freshman year, I made the deal with my parents.
In high school?
In high school, right. In high school, hey, if I'm Indiana Miss Basketball, can you buy me the car of my dreams? 4 years later, it happens. I'm at home, and they're like, we have a fridge in the garage, basically with drinks, waters, Cokes, whatever. Hey, can you go get me a water? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I go out there and open the garage door, open the fridge. The light of the fridge comes on, and I turn behind me, and there's a yellow Ford Mustang convertible. I graduated in 23. It's a 22. It was pretty nice. Didn't have a lot of miles on it. My dad was driving a truck at the time and traded it in, so we could really just afford the payments on the new car. At the time, I was driving an '88 Chevy Celebrity that we paid about $500 for in high school, and the car was so raggedy you couldn't even honk if the radio was on and you honked the horn, you couldn't hear it, right? Like it was just it was that, and he basically drove it till the wheels fall off.
Yeah.
He's had a truck since then, but I always told them that when I could, I wanted to repay the favor. And back in October, I drove down to Indy, asked him to meet me at the dealership, find the truck he wanted.
There you go.
Don't let it be red. That was the deal, right? Growing up, he had a red truck, so it couldn't be red. He found the one he wanted. We took it for a block and wrote the check, signed it, and he drove off.
See, that's every parent's dream and every kid's dream, to be able to repay the things. And it's typical, Katie, of not just your story, but you see the sacrifices that parents make throughout. You look at the life of a student athlete. You're coming up through the grassroots, and you're playing at 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. Parents have to get you there. The sacrifices they have to make to allow you to chase your dream, it's almost impossible to repay that.
Yeah, I can't, right? And that moment for me was really, really cool with my parents. And, I think they drive the truck to all the games now. But you're right, like every family trip was around my AAU summer tournaments, or my sisters and my brothers. My dad, I remember just him waking up 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning to go to work till 5:30 or 6. My mom worked a full-time job. We never ate out as a family. We always had family dinner. There was always something on the table for us to eat. Game days, my mom woke up and made game day breakfast for me and some of my teammates, before she went to work. And, I just those two people mean the absolute world to me, and if I'm making them proud, then I'm doing something right, and that's pretty much the one mission in my life.
Mom and Dad, you did pretty well, because I think she turned out okay. We'll have more of the Katie Gearlds Show presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union after this on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
One of the best parts of our job here at Big Ten Network is getting to know these players and coaches off the court. We came across an incredible story about Purdue head coach Katie Gearlds that's too special not to share.
The two that inspire me every day is my mom and dad. We lived a modest life growing up, but we never wanted, as kids, we had everything we wanted is because of what they did and the sacrifices they made for us. And I always tell people, if I can make those two people proud, then I'm doing my job. So when I was in high school, I made a deal with my parents my freshman year that if I was Indiana Miss Basketball my senior year, they would buy me the car of my dreams, right? So I'm named Indiana Miss Basketball my senior year. A week later, I go out in the garage, and there's a 2002 yellow Ford Mustang convertible in the garage. My dad traded in his truck, and he drove my '88 Chevy Celebrity until the wheels fell off so they could afford my car. So this past Saturday, I met him at the dealership, told him to find the truck he wanted. Just couldn't be red. That was the deal, right? It just can't be red. Sign a check. He's got a brand new truck. It meant everything. Just, you know, really who those two people are to me. The sacrifices they made for all of us growing up. He told me it was just a return on all his investments, but fair enough. I wouldn't have traded that moment for anything in the world.
Coach Gearlds still has that yellow Mustang that her parents bought for her over 2 decades ago and still occasionally drives it to work.
Everyone needs a little playing time, so before a Purdue basketball game or any time throughout the week, stop by Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where it's always game day with a taste of Louisiana. Boilermakers with a couple of games this week. Before we talk about those, we have a lot of special guests in the audience tonight. We've got our cast of regulars that are here through thick and thin.
Always.
Wins or
Love
losses, they're always here. We want to salute the table to
Absolutely.
our left here.
Thank y'all so much.
Let's give them a round of applause for being here tonight. Also want to thank a special guest for coming in, Brianne Butler, who is always on our Facebook feed. We see her at a lot of basketball games at Mackey, and she's here tonight with Mom. Great to have you here, Brianne, and so happy that you're able to join us tonight.
Yeah,
so
thanks for being here, Brianne.
Penn State. I know this is let's go right from that to a sore topic, and that was the game at Penn State earlier this season. Probably the worst game the team played all season.
By far, not even close. 15 offensive rebounds we gave up, like we said, 21 turnovers. And watching it, I just really wanted to throw up watching it. Like, yeah, God. Didn't have a lot of juice in us. Didn't shoot it well. They had us on our heels all game. They set the tone. Since then, I think we've been a little bit better, and we've gotten better here in the last 5 or 6 weeks. So hopefully that team doesn't show up, and the team that y'all have been seeing shows up Wednesday.
And that was a game probably, we've talked all season, I think the effort has been there almost every night. That was the one game you could say that really, it was kind of a no-show that day,
yeah,
frankly.
kind of like scratching your head. Like, I remember a couple times, like, y'all, like, let's, like, asking them, like, what can I do? Like, where are you? That kind of thing. And just couldn't ever find anything to get them going. And, I'll take that one, like, because I've got to do my job of getting our group ready to go. And it didn't happen that day. And I told them, like, I'll take it, I'll wear it. But they got to make sure and promise me that it doesn't happen again on Wednesday.
McKenna Maurice is a player that you've got to be aware of anytime she's got the basketball in her hands, because we saw last year at Mackey Arena, anytime she's over midcourt, she can let it fly.
Yeah, I don't know how many she had in the fourth quarter on us there, but she had 24 at their place. She's gonna put it up. We got to know where she is. We got to stop her in transition. We got to stop them entirely in transition and take care of the basketball, keep them off the glass. But we have to be much, much better than we were.
I thought the player that really hurt you at Penn State for them was Leilani Kapanis, their point guard. She was big on the defensive end, got some scoring as well, and she's a player that you're going to have to contain on Wednesday night.
Yeah, she had 17 and 12, 4 on the offensive glass, was disruptive, bullied us in the post. And then they've got their shooter off the bench who has taken, 12 two-point shots all year, and she gets 2 threes in the first quarter, and just little things that we can control that we've got to be much better.
By the way, all the festivities we were supposed to have with the game last Wednesday in terms of the pink out cancer game, those are going to be transferred to this week. So make sure you wear your pink, and it's senior night, so you're going to have a lot of stuff going on in this final home game.
Yeah, I'm excited that we get to do the pink out game on Wednesday, and then excited we've got 3 walk-in. After we'll do our celebration after the game, but Laisha and Cass and Ricky will all go through their senior day.
All right, we're going to talk more about Purdue's next opponent after that and their regular season finale, Minnesota, when we come back. It is the Katie Gearlds Show, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Got to go all the way back to last season. They've won 17 straight at Assembly Hall. Petrie puts it in from the top of the key.
Petrie has such a high release on her shot. It's difficult to close out on him. She gets it right above her head.
Kick out. More McNeil rims out a three.
Indiana's still getting open looks from three because of the paint touches.
And that's a transition triple from Abby Ellis, their leading scorer in Big Ten play. Petrie a three. Yes. Tries another three. Puts it down.
Mac and cheese, peanut butter and jelly. You take your food pick.
Petrie knocks it in from downtown and has now crossed over the 2,000-point barrier for her career.
It's very disciplined, very unselfish.
Petrie, crossover. Wow. Really tough shot.
Laisha Petrie has been a mid-range assassin. Look at that crossover. Gets Berger.
Largest lead of the game for IU at 10. Terry threads it down to Woltman. Terry, tough fadeaway, nothing but the bottom of the cup. Terry. Ellis, floater, counted in the foul. Petrie from way downtown. And it's back to single digits for the Boilermakers. Ellis, what a shot on skates, flipping it up over Parent. Like that. Geary with 2 seconds. And a shot clock violation.
Listening to the Katie Gearlds Show on 95.3 Bob FM.
Welcome back to the Katie Gearlds Show, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union. We're live at Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where it's always game day with a taste of Louisiana. Time for our Pro Boilers feature, where we look at how former Purdue student-athletes are doing in their professional sports careers. Pro Boilers is presented by Indiana Kitchen Premium Pork Products. Get to know us at indianakitchen.com. Both our Pro Boilers and Indiana Kitchen are Boiler-made. We've been following the exploits of 4 of our Boilermakers overseas all season long, and we'll give you a final recap. Andriana Keys, playing in Poland, had 2 games this week. On Wednesday night, she scored 24 points with 7 rebounds and 5 assists, but her team lost 88-71. Yesterday, her team won 78-50. She had 14 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists. So her team is 9-8, but Andriana is averaging 13 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 4.5 assists per game. Aya Traore is playing in Spain. Her team yesterday won 63-36 to improve to 13-5. Aya had 12 points and 9 rebounds, which is right about at her season average. She's at 12.9 points and 8.4 boards a game. KK Hauser is also playing in Spain. Her team won yesterday 78-74 to move to 7-14. Now, she just joined them not too long ago. In her 5 games, though, that she has played, she's averaging 13 points and more than 3 assists per game. And Sam Ostarello, playing in Italy, she scored 15 points and grabbed 3 rebounds yesterday in a 74-69 loss. Her team is 11-9, and she's averaging almost 6 points and 6 rebounds per game. So congratulations to those 4. We hope they have a lot more to talk about in these coming years, not only in the overseas, but we'd like to get some WNBA talent again, and that makes things a lot easier for the coach on the sidelines, doesn't it?
It sure does. I can't believe Aya's still playing. She got to be, what, 30? I mean, I'm 38. See, she got to be 39, almost 40.
She's right up there.
She's kicking it, too.
Yeah, she is. She's playing pretty well. Let's talk then about Minnesota. You played Minnesota earlier this year at Mackey, and it was one of your better performances. It was almost a 20-point win. But you look at Minnesota, man, they are a different team at home than they are on the road. They beat Nebraska last week in regulation 95-92, and then they turned around and went to Northwestern and lost by 14.
Yeah, that Minnesota-Nebraska game was crazy. Their freshman? I can't remember which one it was, but she had a corner 3. I mean, the game was just nuts. Minnesota had a chance. Nebraska hit some 3s. Josh Shelley had a whole night, and I think Hybe missed 2 free throws.
Yes.
When it was a tied game, and then Braun drives, kicks in the corner 3, nothing but net. Wow, that's a lot of points. So.
And for those who haven't played up there before, and I think probably most of your team has played in Williams Arena, it's probably one of the more unique places to play because of the raised floor, and it's a little bit different background there.
Yeah, I want to say Caitlin and Abby would probably be the only 2.
Yeah.
But Caitlin, obviously, she visited Minnesota, so she knows what it looks like. But Abby hasn't experienced. I think Rutgers played at Minnesota last year because we just played them at home.
Right.
But yeah, obviously, we got to take care of business on Wednesday and go on a road and find a way to finish the season on a strong note.
I've always thought that Minnesota has a great shooter's background. It's a little bit dark in there. We saw Brittany Rayburn when she was here hit, I think, 8 or 9 3-pointers in one game up there.
Well, as long as it's the good guys making it, we'll take it.
Yeah, I also saw Lindsay Whalen hit about 10 3-pointers against Purdue.
Yeah, I remember Bolton always locking me up and knocking down shots, and well, as long as it's the guys in the black, we'll take it.
There had been thoughts at one point about possibly staying up in Minnesota because you end the regular season there, but then play in the Big Ten tournament. But we are coming back before we head back up.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier in the year, but really hoped we weren't going to be playing on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So we kind of just took a chance and got a flight for Wednesday. So we'll get there we'll leave on the 1st. But yeah, just didn't want our kids to miss too many classes, and then hopefully we have an opportunity to go to the NCAA tournament, and they've got to miss some more classes. So I want to make sure they're doing their work here too.
And you also want to stay as much as possible. It's hard to do that in tournament time to a somewhat normal routine. And if you're spending a whole week on the road, that's a little bit out of the normal.
Yeah, and nothing against Minneapolis, but no thank you.
I don't know. They got a lot of tunnels and a lot of good places to eat there, but it should be a lot of fun.
It's not.
And I'll tell you, that's going to be as good a Big Ten tournament as we've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, what we got 14. What did Ohio State come out today? 16.
Yeah, they're in the top. You got 4 teams in the top 20, and now Illinois is back. So you got 6 teams again ranked in the top 25.
Yeah, it's wild. I think I don't know when the WBCA poll comes out, but we were still receiving votes last week. So hopefully we maybe the voters just watched the first half against Indiana and we'll still sneak in there. But we've beat some of those teams. We've played with some of those teams, and we'll just keep grinding it out.
All right, we'll have more of the Katie Gearlds Show presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union in 2 minutes on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Will that be enough for Macy Vieta to win the Big Ten title?
Awards 6.5, 7, 6.5, 7.5,
58.8,
7.
Maggie Merriman. And your 2023 Big Ten Women's Swimming and Diving Champion. Also from Purdue University with a score of 318.30, Macy Vieta.
Couple of looks at Macy Vieta's strong night. Couple of dives that scored well over 70 points. And she was the class of the field in platform diving in 2023.
She secured plenty of 8s tonight. I mean, take a look. Her entry and her execution was just so consistent across the board. I mean, that splash minimal.
Macy, congratulations. How would you describe your diving tonight? You had a couple of big dives over 70 points, but you were pretty consistent as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I really just tried to stay focused and not worry about the previous or the next one. I tried to really think about the one I was on and execute my cues, and, you know, the results came after.
And we just saw a pretty exciting moment for you on the podium as you motioned up to both your teammates, 3 Boilermakers, all in the final. That's got to be pretty exciting and obviously a great environment to train with.
Absolutely. Honestly, we all love Tower so much, and so we really wanted to go out there and represent Purdue the way we know how, and so having my teammates up there is the best feeling in the world. I know I'm not alone, and we're all in this together.
On 95.3 Bob FM.
Everyone needs a little playing time, so before a Purdue basketball game or any time throughout the week, stop by Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where it's always game day with a taste of Louisiana. Boilermakers with 2 games left in the regular season Wednesday night, 7 o'clock tip-off against Penn State, and then Sunday at Minnesota. That one tips off at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. You can hear both games right here on Bob FM. We are in the process right now of going through the high school basketball tournaments around the country. We've got state finals coming up here in Indiana. Let's give a little bit of an update. You gave me some bad injury news, though, on one of your recruits coming in for next year.
Yeah, Soph blew her knee out last Monday, I think it was. She actually came and saw the doctor here in Indy. Doc did my meniscus back in August, and I think that's the one she's going to go with, so it'll be good to, our doctor, so she'll be able to rehab here, once summer school starts. And, there's still a chance. She's got strong legs, hard worker. There's a good chance she'll still be on the court for us, but unfortunate situation because her team was, I think they go regionals and then sectionals. They won the regional, and now they're in the sectional, and they lost in the state championship game last year. So, just a tough situation for her.
That is Sophie Swanson, by the way, who is the reigning Miss Basketball in the state of Illinois.
Yeah, and tough. Hate it for Soph, man. It's a tough kid, and she'll be back.
Rashunda from South Bend, Washington, had her team upset. They had been #1 in the state. I think had been undefeated, and they lost their game in the semi-state this last week.
Yeah, the semi-state in the morning game. I think they got down pretty early. Beth drove up and watched that game. They got down pretty early and fought back. Just couldn't quite get there. Really proud of Rashunda. She's done a really good job of leading her team, and I think the kid needs to be. She deserves to be Indiana Miss Basketball.
Well, that'll be coming out here shortly. I think right after maybe the state finals are done, and after the boys' state finals, because they do both, I think, at the same time. So, yeah, she's had a great season up there in South Bend. Your other kids, are any of them still active right now in the tournament?
No, I don't know that, Mary Ashley, her tournament hasn't started. It doesn't start. Maybe it starts coming next week.
Yeah. New York's a little bit late on everything.
Yeah, a little bit late.
That from being there.
A little bit later on everything. McKenna lost in the regional. They won sectionals, lost in the regionals. A tough one, I think, right?
Yeah.
It was a 1-point game, I think. Let's see what else. Emily is still playing, so we'll be excited to see those guys and how they finish up.
You never lose that feeling, and I went to a couple of sectional games this year, and just it's the one-and-done nature of it, knowing that especially as a senior, this could be your final game, but there's nothing like the Indiana High School basketball tournament. And, people can argue whether the class system is good or bad, but the fact is that you got a lot of kids that are playing to try to realize their dream of winning a state championship.
Yeah, and nobody does it better than the state of Indiana. I think you can see that with the sellout crowd at our at Mackey and then down at Assembly Hall. I mean, nobody does it better than Indiana. The state of Indiana does, and we were out and watched some sectional games and some regional games, and those gyms were packed, and it's just a special time.
We got a boiler up here from Terry. It says Lanesville, a 1A small school, is in the state finals for the first time. So good luck to Lanesville and all of the teams playing down there in Indianapolis this week.
Fun time.
And again, it's a great time for high school basketball and for college basketball. I mean, we all live for March. Sometimes I think there's a little bit too much emphasis put on the end of the season, because to me, a regular season means something.
Yeah.
If you win a regular season championship in the Big Ten, that's a meaningful thing.
Absolutely.
Because that means you've been the best team over a long period of time. And so, that's something you mentioned. We haven't hung one of those banners in a while, and we're kind of missing those. So we'd like to get those back.
Yeah, we'd like to get those back. But you're right. I mean, the grind of the Big Ten on both sides, men's and women's basketball this year, is just crazy. And our guys have put themselves in a really good spot, and it'd be good to see them get a win on Saturday against those other guys, and finish this thing off and win the Big Ten.
The great thing, too, and it's hard as a coach because you have to play against players like Mackenzie Holmes and Grace Berger and Caitlin Clark, but the great thing is they're drawing crowds, and you get sellout crowds. I think I've seen every team except one in the Big Ten has drawn at least 5,000 fans for a game this season. That's good for the sport of basketball.
Yeah, it's awesome, and it's so cool to watch our group play in those environments. I think Ian was running a stat for me. I think at the end of the year we'll have played in 3 of the biggest of 10 maybe 3 of the largest 10 crowds on the year. You know, we had 11,000 plus at Iowa, 14-8 here, and 17-2 down in Indiana. I mean, 2 years ago, this team wins 7 games, and they're playing in front of, 400 people during a COVID year? I mean, that's really cool.
That's a pretty big jump. All right, final segment of the Katie Gearlds Show presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union coming up on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
George has always been a big dreamer.
He was talking about how he wanted to be the best NFL player when he hadn't even played a whole year of football.
Let's do it. Go Boilers.
On the face of my city, co-signed by Diddy.
Prove him wrong.
Prove them wrong. That's big to me. People don't believe you. All right, I'm going to prove you wrong.
Keep again. Karlaftis is there. George Karlaftis, the freshman. The crown jewel of this Purdue recruiting class.
What a play by George. He just kept the relentless pressure.
Yeah.
He didn't slow down at all.
It's loose. Karlaftis has it. He's at midfield. He's at the 40. He's at the 30. He's at the 20. He's at the 10. 5. Touchdown, Boilermakers. George Karlaftis on the fumble return.
NFL draft. The Kansas City Chiefs select George Karlaftis.
Wow.
Defensive end, Purdue.
I'm proud of that kid. It's hard to make it through as a rookie, period. 17 games, but get better every week at that position, is something. I mean, it's as much mental as it is physical, and he is relentless. You see him in practice, he goes 100 miles an hour at practice. He transfers that into games, so my hat goes off to him.
Burrow facing the heat again. Karlaftis, the rookie.
Presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union, home of the official credit union for Purdue fans. Learn more about their products and services at purduefed.com. The game plan is to win 2 games this week and put yourself into a great position, not just for the Big Ten tournament, but for the NCAA tournament. You'd like to have more performances like the one from Laisha Petrie yesterday, who went over 2,000 points for her collegiate career.
Yeah, that's a lot of points, and congrats to Laisha. She came out just really focused, locked in, and was really aggressive and shot the ball well from the perimeter. And, yeah, we'll take that again on Wednesday.
We got a question here from Sheila. We mentioned a little bit earlier about the seniors. We got 3 of them walking for Senior Day, Laisha Petrie, Cassidy Harden, and Ricky Waltman. Wants to know if any seniors are returning for their COVID year. I think you can probably ascertain from who is not walking on Senior Day who might be back next season.
Yeah, we've got 3 other ones.
Yes.
So if they're not walking, there's a good chance
probably going to be back next year.
They're in our uniform next year.
Well, Katie, it's been a fun season going from year 1 to year 2, and it's great to see the progress that this program is making, and I think a lot of people are excited about the future. Right now, I know you're focused on beating Penn State on Wednesday night, but this team is certainly in this program is going in the right direction. Let's see if we can keep that arc upward and make some noise here in the month of March.
Yeah, it'd be really fun. Proud of our group. Had the helm for 17 months and would love nothing than to get Purdue back in the NCAA tournament.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you all season. We'll still talk at basketball games, but it's been great spending Monday nights with everybody here. Want to thank our on-site engineer, Wes Scott, our producer, Roger Forsyth, Hunter Massengill doing all the video. Thanks to Anthony, who's the greatest server out there. We appreciate all of his work. He takes care of us every week. Again, the Boilermakers taking on Penn State on Wednesday night, 7 o'clock start. We'll be on at 6:45 for that, and then Sunday at Minnesota, a 3 o'clock tip-off. For the head coach and for everybody here at Walk-Ons, thank you for tuning in this season. You've been listening to the Katie Gearlds Show on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.